everyone at the club's very proud of Dustin and what he's done and what he's achieved and the player and the person he is. And as a person, his parents have obviously, contributed a lot to who he is, and so has his family and his wife and his kids. But I think this football club has as well. So we're very proud of him. An incredible player and an incredible person.
It's hit home more the last 3 or 4 days than you realise, because you get a lot of messages and even hear from a lot of ex-teammates that you had a fair bit to do with in the early years. So it's a big deal, and as I said, big game on Saturday night.
As a mate and as a teammate, you couldn't ask for anything better. Dustin, all he ever wanted was what's best for the Essendon Football Club, and he'd go above and beyond. If any players had any issues off the field or any issues on field, he'll always cover for you. And he would have been one of the most loyal people and genuine people that anyone's likely to meet.
I think he's taught me more about defence or how to play in defence than I've taught him, and taught a lot of his teammates. We had a meeting just before and sort of talked to Carl Hooker about what he's learned from Fletch, and his response was everything.
Very annoying to play on the long gangly arms and legs. You think you'd be in front position, you had the ball all parcelled up, and then Inspector Gadget would arrive from absolutely nowhere. It's a fantastic performance. Dustin Fletcher's someone that I've always looked up and admired. I remember 1993, I was a 15-year-old going to watch Essendon v Carlton in the grand final. And I remember just watching Dustin play at fullback on Stephen Kernahan and thinking, what an effort it is and how I'd love to be in his shoes in a couple of years' time.
Dustin, could you just give us a snapshot of what it was like preparing for footy in 1993 compared to now?
I liken it to, and heard you could probably back me up, but sort of like local footy. You knew you were playing on a Saturday at 2:20 every week. All the games were Saturday. The VFL or your reserve side played before, so you go and watch a half of that before you played, and it was 2 or 3 days a week training, and it was probably a bit easier, to be honest, back then as a 17-year-old kid in today. But the professionalism that you've got to be able to, you've got to be able to, really, take on that professionalism and, to be a good player today.
Well, it's interesting he said that we only trained 3 nights a week back in 1993, because I remember the rest of us trained 5 or 6 nights a week, but Fletch obviously had a different program.
I always said James Hird was the best player I played with, but I always valued Dustin as the most important. I think he's highly underrated. Just the amount of times he saved us out on the field. It's unimaginable that you'd have a goalkeeper on the ground of AFL football, but he's been Essendon's goalkeeper for over 20 years.
I think with the Dreamtime, game too, such a big occasion for the Aboriginal community and everyone else too. It just makes it that better.
Fletcher's been such an important person to so many of this current playing group, and from Job all the way through, he's had a huge influence on them. So they want to commemorate and celebrate sort of Fletcher's career, and they want to make it as big and special as we can.
What an achievement, what a superstar, what a bloke Dustin Fletcher is.